This video is your reteach for your laws of exponents test. You must complete this before you are allowed to reteach. So make sure you look at what questions you missed on your test and work through those appropriately so that you can be ready for your retest. Once you've completed this, you may schedule a retest with your teacher. So which expression is equivalent for all values of k and m where the expression is defined? Okay, so we have we have division happening here, right? So we're going to start with our numbers. And when I'm looking at just my numbers, I'm going to do those like we've always done them. So 16 divided by 4 gives me 4. So automatically I'm going to get rid of A and I'm going to get rid of C. So k to the 9th divided by k to the 3rd. Let's go there next. So k to the 9th is k times itself 9 times. And k to the 3rd is k times itself 3 times. And these 3 will cancel these 3. They'll equal 1. So then I'd be left with k to the 6th power. Okay, so automatically I already know it's B, but let's look at m to the 7th and m to the 14th. So m to the 7th is m times itself 7 times. And m to the 14th is m times itself 14 times. Okay, so I know that these 7 are going to cancel these 7. So then I'd be left with m to the 7th down on my denominator. So my final answer, once again, is B. Okay. So this one's a little trickier because I have this exponent on the outside of these parentheses. And when I see that, when I have a power to a power, it's like order of operations. And I want to make sure that I apply that first. So before I do anything else, I'm going to go ahead and rewrite what's in here. So I have 6 to the 2nd power now, or 6 times 6. I have x to the 2nd times x to the 2nd. And I have y times y. And I'm just going to rewrite all of this. 6 to the 2nd power is 36. X to the 2nd power times x to the 2nd power, that's like x times x times x times x. So that'll be x to the 4th power. And then y to the 1st power times y to the 1st power. We don't see those ones. That would be y to the 2nd power, or y times y would be y to the 2nd power. Okay, so we took care of this now, and now I have kind of my new problem. I have 1/3 times this times 2x to the 3rd and y to the 4th. So let's take care of those numbers first. 1/3 times 36 times 2. So if I do 1/3 times 36, I'll get 12. 12 times 2 gives me 24. Then I have x to the 4th times x to the 3rd. So that's x times x times x times x. And then x times x times x for x to the 3rd. And all of that's going to give me x to the 7th. Okay, then I have y to the 2nd times y to the 4th. So that's y times y times y times y times y times y. So y to the 2nd times y to the 4th And all of that's going to give me y to the 6th. So my final answer would be 24 times x to the 7th times y to the 6th. Okay, which expression is equivalent to x to the 3/7 to the 2nd power? That's like x to the 3/7 times x to the 3/7. And a lot of people wanted to go ahead and like put these denominators and make them 14. But if I have 3/7 and then another 3/7, mathematically I have 6/7. So really it was just my numerator that added together or multiplied by this 2. So x to the 6/7 would be my correct answer. So C. All right, number 4. This one looks a little scary, but it really is not more than what we were already dealing with because it's all still multiplication and there's a lot that I can do here. I have 8.8 divided by 2.2. So I know that's going to be 4. Okay. I have 10 to the negative third. If you remember what a negative exponent means, that means I need to move this up top. It means to do the opposite. So it's on the bottom. I'm going to move it to the top. So now I have that 4.4 or 4 that we got times 10 to the 9th times 10 to the 3rd. Because we've moved that to the top. And now everything's gone on the bottom. So if I have 4 times 10 to the 9th, that's like 10 times itself 9 times. And then I have 10 to the 3rd, so that's 10 times itself 3 more times. So 10 to the 3rd, 10 to the 9th. All together, I have 10 to the 12th. So A would be my answer. Number 5. C to the 8th power and D to the 6th power to the 3rd power. So as we mentioned before, we see this right here. I want to take care of that first, just like order of operation. So I have C, I'm going to keep my C to the 8th where it is. And I have D to the 6th times D to the 6th times D to the 6th. And I have C to the 2nd. Okay. Let's go ahead and take care of that C to the 8th. So that would be C times itself 8 times. And on the bottom, I have C to the 2nd. So that's C times itself 2 times. So these are going to cancel and equal 1, and these will cancel and equal 1. And I'm left with C to the 6th on the top. So A and B are out. Okay. And now if I just think about it, I can write it all out if I want to. I'm going to go ahead and do my D to the 6th times D to the 6th times D to the 6th. That means I'm multiplying D 6 times and then another 6 times and then another 6 times. So all together, I'm multiplying D to the 18th. So my final answer is D. Okay, number 6, which expression is equivalent to the following for all values of A, B, and C where the expression is defined? So I have 15 and 3, and it means multiply. So 15 times 3 gives me 45. So right now I already know that A is not my answer and C is not my answer. It's got to be B or D. Okay, let's take care of our A's first. anything to the 0 power equals 1. So this a is going to be gone. And I'm just left with a to the 16th power. So I'm going to go ahead and just write my a to the 16th power. Okay, I have b to the second and b to the negative 29. So on the top, I'm going to have b to the second, and the negative 29 is going to go to the bottom and become positive 29. Do the opposite. So if I look at that, these two are going to cancel, and I'm going to be left with b to the 27. Okay, and then my last one is c. I have c to the 34th and c to the 0 power. Again, this equals 1, so this is going to cancel, and I'll have c to the 34th on the top. So my final answer would be D. Okay. Number 7, which expression is equivalent to for all values of x and y where the expression is defined? So I need to take care of this first, that power outside of my exponent. So I'm going to rewrite. The top is going to stay as is for now. And the bottom becomes 3 times 3 times x times x times y times y. Okay. All right. I know 3 times 3 is just 9. And 36 divided by 9 is going to give me 4, which actually already gives me my answer. But we're going to keep going anyway. So I have 4. Okay, now let's take care of our x's. I have x times x times x times x for that x to the 4th on the top. And on the bottom, I have x times x for x to the, now that's x to the 2nd. So this x and this x will cancel with these two x's to make 1. And I'm left with x to the 2nd power. So 4x to the 2nd is where we're at. Okay, let's take care of our y's now. We already took care of our x's. I'm just going to mark these off so I remember we took care of them. Let's do our y's. I have y to the 5th. So y times y times y times y times y. And on the bottom, I have y to the 2nd. Okay. And I know these two y's will cancel with these two y's, leaving me with y to the 3rd on the top. So my answer is C. All right, which expression is equivalent to x to the 9th, y, z to the 4th to the 5th power? So all of this needs to be to the 5th power. That means I need x to the 9th times itself 5 times. I need y times itself 5 times. And I need z to the 4th times itself 5 times. Okay, so if I imagine this and I expanded it all out, I did x to the 9th. So x times itself 9 times, and then times itself 9 times again, times itself 9 times again, and so on. I would end up with multiplying x 45 times. So it's not A, it's not B, it's got to be C or D. If I look here at my y's, y times y times y times y times y just gives me y to the 5th. So my answer has to be D. And here we can see that we're multiplying z a total of 20 times. Okay, number 9, which expression is equivalent to 7 times the square root of 45? All right. So remember, what we take out is squares. So just like when the square root of 9 equals 3, we took out a 3 because 3 times 3 equals 9. right? So my final answer is 3. We're going to kind of do the same thing here. So 45, if I break it down into factors I know that's 9 times 5. I'm looking for squares. So I know that the square for 9 is 3. So I can take out a 3. I'm taking out that 3 because that's my square. I take out the squares. I multiply it by the 7 that was already there. And I don't want to forget that I still have 5 on the inside. So my final answer is 21 square root of 5. Okay, last question, 600. How can I break down 600? I chose to break it down as 100 times 6. And I'm looking for those perfect squares, so I can do 10 times 10. We don't want to forget about my 6. That's still there. I can take out my square of 10. And on the inside, I still have 6. So my answer is B.